Thanks for joining us for another edition of Texas Insider TV. I'm Jim Cardle. We're pleased to be able to visit today with candidate for Congressional District 25, we think, Dianne Costa, former mayor of Highland Village. Dianne, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for inviting me.
The issue of the San Antonio court maps and the legislatively drawn maps is very much at the forefront of everybody's minds, and certainly you, Dianne, as a candidate who, we're going to date this video a little bit, you just filed today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
For an office that we're not sure where the maps are. You are a former elected official as mayor of Highland Village. Your district initially, as by the legislature, would run from south of Fort Worth and Arlington over through Burnett and Lampasas and all the way down here to Travis and Hays County. But give us a little bit about your elective experience.
Okay. Well, I served on the Highland Village City Council for 8 years. 4 of those years was as a council member and 4 years as mayor. Lots of action during that time. We brought in developments, made it the safest city in Texas for a population of 10 to 100,000. And recognized that we were going to be experiencing some difficult times, believed that we needed to be frugal with our taxpayers' money, so we always had a balanced budget and kept a good, hefty fund balance to protect us for those rainy days. So I think that has prepared me to run for U.S. Congress. I don't think that you need to be a Washington insider, but I think having the experience of governance that I did as mayor certainly will allow me to hit the ground running when I get to Washington.
Well, you mentioned balancing a budget. That certainly is applicable to D.C. You also mentioned the fact that Highland Village is a diverse community, and that's the crux of this lawsuit that I really want to focus on. You are of Hispanic, Mexican-American descent, but yet were elected as councilman and mayor. Talk about that background of how diverse Hispanics are, if you would, real quick.
Well, Hispanics are very diverse, especially when you talk about the Latino population. You have Cubans and Puerto Ricans and Mexicans like myself. But while we share the same core values, we tend to be a very diverse group. And I think there's basically an implication that we all think the same way, that we're Democrats, and that's absolutely not true.
I want to bring up you yesterday, and we ran this in Texas Insider, you've sent a letter in support of Attorney General Abbott's efforts to have the San Antonio court maps thrown out, and your letter is in support, and you say there that 55% of Texas is non-white minority, yet the majority of Texans in the last election voted Republican, and yet the claim has been that these districts don't represent a certain political view. What is the point of the lawsuit, therefore, is the question?
Well, that is a good question, and I think it assumes that Hispanics are Democrats and that they're not represented. In 2010, the statistics for the citizens in Texas, as you said, the majority are non-white, and the fact that we have a Texas legislation of a supermajority in the House and a majority in the Senate of the Republican basically tells you that there are people of Latino descent that vote conservative and Republican. And so their argument is invalid. And my history is a good way of basically saying that no, you don't know us. You're assuming that we've been violated by this original the map for the legislators, but that's not true. In fact, the legislators were elected by the people of Texas, and now we're saying that that's not valid. I'm sorry, but this process is what's not valid.
Talk a little bit about, because you've been traveling, I know, and putting a lot of shoe leather into this race, indeterminate of where the lines are drawn, but the district is in a rural part of Texas, so to speak. It would include Fort Hood, the largest military base in the globe, from outskirts of Fort Worth and Austin to the country. What, as a Hispanic woman, has been your feedback, and how do you feel the campaign response has been to the campaign?
I think the campaign response has been excellent. I don't think that people's biggest concern is my ethnicity as much as it is the values that we hold, those conservative values. And that's what's resounding throughout the district. And yes, you know, we've talked to farmers and ranchers. We talked to college kids and the elderly. We've talked to the military. And across the board, their biggest concern is not the ethnicity of the congressperson. Their biggest concern is the values in which we'll be making decisions up in Washington.
Or how about, let me ask you if I could, how about this whole court scenario? Are they following that? Do you hear favorability either way or discussed either way? How's the reception to all the court problems?
Well,
because that goes, what I'm getting at is going to the value of our voting process.
Well, we believe that the value of our voting process has been completely distorted. And in fact, the people are very upset.
Really?
The people are very upset across the district. So what they've done is completely ignored the will of the people. How do people let us know their will? It's through voting. And the citizens of Texas voted for the legislators that actually drew these maps. And what the court is saying, that is not valid.
How about as a candidate going forward here? We've now learned that the filing period's been extended. Then the primary's coming up, we think. As a candidate, how are you able to plan or not plan from here? What's your tactics?
Well, what we've done...
If you can plan any, frankly.
Absolutely. We are planners. We are not going to be moved by the opinion of a few judges who are, in my opinion, in violation of the Constitution. But as a candidate, we're still boots to the ground, meeting with the people, talking with the people, and that's how we know the people are very upset about the process. One of the good things about a congressional district is that you don't actually have to live in the district to run for Congress. You just need to live in the state of Texas.
Okay.
So that's made it easier for my campaign. What's made it difficult for the campaigns of the state legislation is that you do have to live in the district. And so that's not been fair to the, not just the people running, but to the people of Texas. They're not going to give them ample time to actually know these candidates.
Okay. So heaven forbid we should forget the little guy, the voters, that they're going to be involved in this as well. Dianne, we appreciate you coming in. Folks, if you want to get in touch with the Costa campaign, it's Dianne Costa for Congress.com. Dianne with 2 N's, CostaForCongress.com. Be sure and keep up with Dianne's efforts. We hope you'll be tuning in again to Texas Insider, because remember, you're either an insider or you're not. I'm Jim Cardle. Thanks for joining us.